Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here coming at you with the final video in this trilogy for the God Eater series, and that is going to be the Platinum Trophy Guide for God Eater 3. As you can see, compared to the first two games, the amount of playtime spent to actually beat the story isn't that long. There's probably a couple extra hours added onto it for just playtesting and doing other side things and figuring some stuff out for you guys. But we're just going to jump right in so I can show you guys the ins and outs of everything in God Eater 3 and how to get that Platinum Trophy. So, just like the other two God Eaters, this one is no different, except there are some changes and variations that have made the overall trophy a lot easier to obtain than the first two games. Now, aside from the story missions, there are going to be some couple that will pop up along the way, that being the ones that you're probably familiar with: devouring an origami mid-fight to gain power, using Link Burst by using the devoured bullets to buff a teammate, using Link Aid to revive a teammate should they happen to fall down, as the allies in this game are actually a lot more better, I would say, in comparison to the first two games in terms of like power and stuff like that. And you can also equip them with skills that make it to where fighting your main origami is a lot easier to deal with. Or if you want them to deal with the non-essentials first, you can always do that as well. Now in this one there's also a burst, which is, or a link burst, or engage with another God Eater. Now, the trophy related to that, I do believe that there's two of them. One for doing it the first time, and then the second one is for doing it with all available characters. Now, this is quite different in the current patch of the game, but I'll show you right here. When you're going to do any of your standard missions or whatever, side missions, whatever you want, you can select your 3 partners, and from here, the 7 people you have to link burst with is Hugo, Theme, Claire, Zeke, Lulu, Ricardo, and the last one is Ein. I do know that there is 2 other characters that you can get in the game. I do believe it's Neil and maybe Keith. I haven't unlocked the other one, as you can tell, but you just have to do those. You don't have to do Neil as of the current patch of the game. Now do note though, as you're playing, you will also need to do specific other missions as well, so do keep that in mind. Also returning is the rare abandoned God Arc trophy jackpot. This one should eventually come over time, as it is a just RNG thing as well. The next trophy to talk about is the most trusted ally, another returning trophy for the third game. However, this one is only 200 missions. That is not bad at all. Now, similar to every other game, if you hit the options button and select your avatar card and my card, you can then go and see your overall amount of missions played with each specific thing. It just has to be one of them. As you can see, after completing the story and trying to go through and do most of the side missions, as those will unlock more blueprints for your weapon and God Arcs. A little bit different than the other games, but this one you will probably easily blow through. You can see I'm just barely above halfway through getting this trophy, which is not bad at all. Another 2 trophies returning is for obtaining the max rank gear in one class and then obtaining one in all classes. Now instead of it being rank 14 or rank 15, it's only rank 7. Pretty crazy. Now another trophy to talk about is also the pardon me, the abilities that you can obtain, the burst arts. Just simply using them, as there will be tutorials to teach you about these, will also get you trophies. Now, one returning trophy from the second game to the third game is the allies and personal abilities. One you're going to have to do is, instead of just fully maxing out a single person's abilities, you will have to max it out and then complete a mission with them as your ally. Now, from the very start of the game, I recommend putting on Pep Talk, and then as soon as you can, upgrade it. And then if you can, upgrade it on everybody that you get, as this will make the grind less, as this increases the AP that that person gets, and then also increases the AP that everybody has. So having all 3 allies have Pep Talk +3, which is the highest it goes, definitely helps. I know as you're going through and doing the level 7 missions, you're getting upwards of 870 AP per mission clear. So that's quite a lot. Now from here, like I'm sure you've already obtained and earned if you're going to be playing through the game, is just simply creating and upgrading equipment will get you some more trophies as well. Another 2 returning trophies is going to be for breaking your first bond and breaking 100 bonds. Pretty easy to do, especially in this one, as it is not that hard to do that, and definitely doesn't take as long a time as it does in the first 2 games. Now overall, aside from doing that and upgrading and all that good stuff, you will also have a new kind of ability, and that is going to be burst control units or acceleration triggers. These will have different effects basically, but you can craft them, then equip them, and they will modify another portion of gameplay. Now another thing that you will have to do is complete the mission Twilight of the Hounds. I'm sure that it is a very tough mission, but it is probably more towards the end game section overall, so probably by that point you should be very familiar with how the game plays and how it goes about doing. And then the last couple things to talk about is missions. Now there are some expeditions that you will have to do. Those are just the missions that are multi-layered. Let's see if I can find any, like right here. An expedition just basically means any mission that has more than one phase. Now, the last mission I'll talk about is the assault missions. Now these, I'm not sure if you can do these offline. I will definitely double check and see if you can even attempt to do them offline. That way it's known or not. But for now, I do believe this is the only mission that requires online just to do. But you do not need to have other people to do it with. So these are supposed to be I believe 7 or 8 player type missions. You can simply do the first one. It is basically an ice origami that you fight that's normally fire. Pretty standard moveset. He does pack a much harder punch than normal, but basically the main point of these is that you only have 5 minutes to do them. It does seem a little ridiculous, but all you have to do is make it through the mission. Now if you happen to defeat the origami, that counts too. If you happen to use up all 5 minutes and you don't defeat the origami, you will still get the trophy cooperative venture. So just keep that in mind. But I will double check and leave a comment about it, letting you guys know if it can be done offline or not. And I do believe that that is the main bulk of God Eater 3's Platinum Trophy. It is definitely not as grindy as probably the first 2 games, but it is still a little bit of a grind, considering you have to do at least 200 missions with the same type of equipment, and then you have to still get a level 7 piece of equipment for every single weapon type, shield, and I do believe gun type as well. That is quite a lot, considering they also added 2 new weapon types into this game. But for the time spent per each mission and how well the combat goes in this game, it is probably not going to take you nearly half as much time as the first 2 games. But this has been Mr. Pilgrim, and this has been my Platinum Trophy Guide series for all of the God Eaters. I know it's not really much in the way of showing you builds or anything like that, as I do believe that is best left up to you guys and determining what weapons you are most comfortable with, and then going and finding guides for those weapons, as I have my preference and you have yours. But beside those facts, I do hope that these guides have been informative, helpful in some way, shape, or form, as at least giving you guys a roadmap of what to do and how to do it, as well as just general tips or ideas for things that you might not have even known about as trophies. And as always, this has been Mr. Pilgrim, and I will see you all in the next Platinum Trophy Guide. Peace out.